Hi everyone, welcome to Life of Kay, another episode this week. Alright, so I know this is back to school time. I know parents out there are happy that their kids are finally out of the house after having them all summer long. As a matter of fact, I know parents are all too eager to send them. Teachers, I know you're just like, damn, they're back. As a teacher, it's kind of like, yeah. They're back. That went fast. But anyway, welcome back. Back to school has started. I know a lot of parents have already finished their shopping, getting their materials and supplies for their kids for back to school. So, since school is back in session, I kind of want to do a series of videos on, I guess I'm probably going to call them like teacher anecdotes. That I'm going to be doing throughout this school year, 2019-2020 school year. So I thought I'd first start with my very first episode, which is basically going to be a kind of back to school kind of tips and advice for parents. And as a teacher, this is just some things that I've kind of, had to deal with over the years and have talked to parents and families about over the years. So I'm just going to give 5 back to school tips and advice for parents. So let's jump right in. Number 1. I want to talk about shoes. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what about shoes? My kids have shoes. I bought them shoes. I'm not talking about the color. I'm not even talking about the style of shoe, or maybe a little bit the style of shoe. I'm just talking about parents. I really, as a teacher, it's nice if you can be a little more practical with choosing your children's shoes for the start of the school year. Now, this really depends on the type of school your kid goes to. If it's private school, most likely they have some sort of uniform. The uniform shoes usually tend to be black. And it could be anything for girls from Mary Jane's to maybe flats, tie-ups. Some schools, depending on the school, will even allow black sneakers so long as it's all black. So it really depends on what school your child goes to. But I'm really here to talk about laces. If you have a younger child, so this is mainly going to be for the younger set, I would say from pre-K to anywhere between 1st and 2nd grade. Usually by 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, they kind of master tying their shoe on their own. So this is really for the pre-K, maybe 1st grade set. So if you have a child in any of those grades, most likely they do not know how to tie their shoes on their own. This can be a problem. Now, a lot of parents like to buy their really pretty, fancy, expensive sometimes shoes for their kids to go to school in. I am not here to tell you what brand of shoe to buy your child. That is totally your call. However, I am asking you to please take into consideration laces. It's really best not to have shoes with laces on the younger children, and here is why. They come loose, okay? As you know, children run, they play, they're kids. Their laces are going to come untied. And who's going to be the one stuck tying your kid's lace all day long? Yep, you guessed it. Now, I don't mean to be, a whiner or complainer. However, you have to take into account that it's not just your child in the classroom. We have, depending on, again, the school you go to, it could be anywhere from 15 to as many as 30, 35 kids. It really depends on your district and school that your child goes to. That's a lot of kids in the classroom. And it also depends on how many teachers you have in the class. Now, for a lot of the younger grades, like pre-K, there's usually 3 or 2 teachers in the class, depending, once again, on the school your child is in. My school I work in, there are 3 teachers in the class. Now, I know that sounds like it will be plenty of teachers, plenty of people to go around tying shoes. It is not. Because we are busy during the day. There's so many other things going on and things need to get done during the day. Stopping to tie your kids' shoes really just takes away from instructional time and other things we really need to get done. Especially if your child, we were trying to line them up to take them somewhere out of the classroom, whether it's to a resource room, if you have resource rooms, depending on the public school you're in, or if you're taking them out to a play yard or playground, or even on a school trip. Of course, the first thing we have to do is check everyone's feet and make sure their laces are tied. This takes an enormous amount of time, let me tell you. It doesn't sound like it will be, but it takes a lot of time from what we're about to do. It can really delay trying to leave the classroom by as many as 5, 10, even 15 minutes, depending on how many untied shoes we have to try to tend to. If parents would stop tending their kids to school with shoelaces, that would really give us a lot more time during the day. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, if you send your child to school, I'm not going to tie their shoes. That is crazy. And it's also a safety hazard. Of course, we're going to tie them. We have to, because your children's safety is our priority. However, it would really be helpful if you would stop sending them to school with laces. What is the point? They don't know how to tie them. At this point, it's just a fashion accessory. There are plenty of fashionable cute shoes for the younger grades, for the younger set, that don't have laces. And as a parent, when my child was in pre-K and K, she did not have shoes with laces. Because I'm also a teacher and I know what it's like having to stop and try to tie a child's laces. They literally will stop you in the middle of a lesson and say, can you tie my shoe? You know how, do you have any idea how distracting that is? It is, trust me. So I made a point of never sending my child to schools with laces until she was old enough to tie them herself. First of all, her safety is my #1 concern, and I knew, as a teacher, the teacher may after a while get tired of tying shoelaces all day. She may not even get to it. Even if my child asked her, she may get distracted, say, okay, hold on 1 more minute, and never remember to get back to tying her laces. What could happen? She could trip and fall. My daughter's classroom was on the 2nd floor of her school. I was afraid she may trip and fall down the stairs from untied laces. I did not want to get that phone call or notice saying your child is in a nurse's office or in an ER because she fell down some stairs because her shoelaces weren't tied. That's a phone call no parent wants to get. So I, as a parent, made sure she only went to school in either flats or Mary Jane's that had Velcro. Something she can do herself. Nothing that she would have to worry about trying to fasten or unfasten. So my advice to you parents is please, please, no laces until your child is able to tie his or her shoes on her own. So please, tip #1, no shoelaces. Find shoes that don't require tying. It's safer for your child and it saves the teacher a whole lot of time throughout the day. Let's move on to tip #2. Clothes. I know that. Okay, I know that seems like a weird thing to talk about, clothing. Once again, this really depends on the school that your child goes to. If your child is in a private or charter school or something like that, they have uniform, which actually makes shopping and clothing a lot easier as a parent because they're going to wear the same thing every single day. Much easier. You don't have to worry about selecting an outfit the night before. For the children who attend a public school, some place where there is no uniform required, this is a little bit different. Obviously, you have to select a different outfit for your child for each day. So this is where some of the issues come in at. Now, as a teacher, I've had both. I've taught both uniform and non-uniform setting. So I'm really talking more about obviously the non-uniform setting, probably a public school or something. Clothing. Now, again, this is really geared towards a younger set, maybe pre-K, K, even first. Because they still sometimes struggle with dressing themselves and taking things on and off. Most kids kind of mastered past first grade or so, but you'd be surprised. So my advice mainly is about things like belts. I know, especially for the boys, parents put the belts on the pants to hold up the pants. Because we know as parents, we always buy things a couple sizes bigger so they'll last longer. We totally get it. But with the belts comes complications because when it's time to use the bathroom, they cannot take off the belt. And for boys, especially, this is a problem. I haven't really seen too many girls wearing belts. They tend to wear jumpers or something. But with the boys, they almost always have a belt on their pants. And they always have a hard time unfastening the belt when they have to use the bathroom. Now parents, you should know your kid. You know kids, especially the younger ones, 4, 5, 6 years old, they always wait till the last minute to go to the bathroom. Especially if you're doing something they really enjoy, like playing. So they run to the bathroom just in the nick of time, but there's a big belt they can't unfasten, and this is where the accidents happen. I've had a lot of accidents because of these belts. So I think as parents, it might be better to find pants that have the adjustable waistband. A lot of pants, even the uniform pants, have these elastic waistbands in the middle, the waistband of the pants. There's like an elastic piece. You can pull it to tighten it, and then you can loosen it up. I think that's much better than the belt. It's easy for them to take their pants on or off. They don't need to take anything off. They can unbutton it or unsnap it as they normally would and take care of business. If you can avoid the belt, I would really appreciate it. I'm telling you, it will save a lot of accidents for us to have to clean up as teachers if the boys did not wear these big bulky belts that they really can't unfasten and fasten on their own. So please keep that in mind when selecting your children's clothing and getting them dressed in the morning. Also, for those who like to wear the cute little overalls, I personally love overalls on kids. I think they're adorable, but they're just not practical for school. I haven't met a child yet that could unfasten that hook on the overall. They almost always need help with that. Again, with kids, and sometimes waiting until the last minute to go to the toilet, accidents occur. So to cut back on some of these accidents, it's really not a good idea to send them to school in those adorable overalls. I know they're cute, but they cannot unhook those straps on their own. They need assistance. And again, that once again takes us away from what we could be doing in the classroom to have to stop and assist them with the snapping or unbuttoning or unhooking of the strap. It's a lot. And sometimes they don't even ask. They try to do it themselves. By the time they do that, the accident has already occurred. So stay away from overalls for school. Save those for the weekend. And finally, one-piece jumpsuits. I know they look adorable on little girls. I like a one-piece jumpsuit. Once again, it's really not practical for the school setting because the little girl has to practically get naked to use the bathroom. I've seen it a million times. So yeah, she has to basically strip down naked in order to use the bathroom because that's the only way you can get it off to use the toilet. So again, one-piece jumpsuits is really not a good idea, or pantsuit. One-piece jumpsuits just really aren't practical for little girls. Again, she has to take everything off to use the bathroom. I just don't think that's really appropriate for a school setting. So, clothing, avoid belts for the boys. Please think of the adjustable waistband for pants. They do sell them in stores. It'd be a lot easier for them to try to get in and out of the bathroom. Also, if you could avoid overalls because they most times cannot unhook those fasteners themselves. And the one-piece outfits and jumpsuits for the little girls. It's really not practical for a school setting because she has to basically strip naked in order to use the bathroom. So if you can avoid those clothing faux pas, that would really make it much more easier for us as a teacher. Now on to tip number 3. Number 3, labeling. I know this might seem self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised how many parents do not do this. Labeling all of your children's clothes and class materials. Believe it or not, we still get a lot of parents who don't do this, and it causes a huge mix-up in the classroom. I think labeling clothing is super important, especially if your child attends a school that does have uniform, because everyone's going to be wearing the exact same clothing, and this is very easy for things to get mixed up and confused. So where I am, there is a uniform. There's these red sweaters that the kids wear, usually in the fall and colder months, that go over their uniform. Everyone has the exact same red sweater. So what often happens is, if it's not labeled, a kid may put it in another kid's cubby by mistake, get mixed up. That child takes it home, then the parent comes, oh my God, my child came home, they had a sweater in the morning. When the child came home in the afternoon, they didn't have their sweater. I can't find the sweater, and it usually causes a huge commotion. Parents get really upset, and understandably so. You paid good money for it. So if your child has a special uniform, please make sure you label all your child's clothing. Most of the uniforms, especially the sweaters and even the shirts and jackets and blazers, there's a tag on the inside where you can write the child's name. I think they even have a line for the name of the school and things like that, and phone number. Now, you don't have to necessarily put your phone number in there, but definitely label with your child's first and last name. That's really important. So if there is somehow a mix-up and a kid takes home your child's sweater or blazer by mistake, or any part of the uniform, tie, we have ties that go missing pretty much daily. Please make sure you label with the child's name, first and last name. They even have label machines that you can buy just to make a tag for clothing. I suggest buying that as well, so that everything your child has is labeled with his or her name. So in the event of a mix-up, the parent will know, oops, you brought home the wrong sweater. This isn't yours, this has someone else's name on it, and they will return it. So please label all clothing, especially if the child has a uniform, because everyone's going to be wearing the same thing, and it's easy for mix-ups to happen. Labeling class materials, classroom materials, notebooks, folders, binders, pencil cases, and the like. You'd be surprised how many parents do forget to label the children's things, and then they ask what happened to the child's school supplies. They went missing, they can't find it. Or as a teacher, you ask them to take out their box of crayons and they say, I don't have it. So please label everything that you bought for your child. Your name should be on there. That way there's no mix-ups or confusion with class supplies, because everyone's buying the same stuff in the beginning of the school year. So please make sure everything is clearly labeled and identified with your child's first and last name. Again, I know this seems like something basic, but you'd be surprised how many parents don't do this or forget to do this in the beginning of the year. Labeling will save everyone involved a lot of headache later on down the road. So this brings me to tip number 4. 4. Be open and honest. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what do I mean when I say be open and honest? Be open and honest about what? Be open and honest about your kid. Now, again, as a teacher, and this goes across the board, of course, no matter what grade your child is in. So my advice is, for the parents, please be open and honest about your kid when you first start school. If there's a genuine concern, please make sure you bring it to the teacher's attention. Don't assume the teacher is going to automatically pick up on it or no. If there's something a teacher should be aware of concerning your child, again, please have that conversation with your child's teacher. Don't wait for the teacher to come to you and say, hey, I think the kid may need some sort of services, or I think the kid may have an out. Whatever it is, please share that day one, or better yet, prior to day one, with the child's teacher, so that the teacher will know anything that's really important for your child. Now, again, in my line of work, I've had this happen numerous times, where you ask the parent, you have a conference with the parent before the child even starts, and you ask them, do you have any questions or concerns about your child? 99% of the time, the parent says no. And then after the child starts school, we come to realize the parent should have said yes. Now, there's various things that it could be. We have found out that sometimes kids have maybe a speech issue. We asked you if you have any questions or concerns about your child, and you said no. But that was your opportunity to say, yeah, you know what? I actually do have a child. I'm noticing my kid doesn't really speak clearly. Or I'm noticing that he or she doesn't speak at all. Or I'm noticing that there's stutters. Whatever the issue is, you need to make sure you bring it to your child's attention, your teacher's attention, early. So that's why if the child does wind up needing to be evaluated or needing services, the teacher can help guide you in the right direction or help you with that. But by saying, no, I don't have any concerns, my kid is perfectly A-okay, everything's fantastic, that's not really being all 100% honest, especially if you know in the back of your mind you kind of do have a concern. You're just afraid to bring it up because maybe you don't want your child labeled or you don't want to be judged. I assure you that will not happen. But it's better for you and your child if you bring it to your teacher's attention from day one, so that it can best know how to help and serve your child. If everybody's on the same page, I'm telling you, the school year will go so much easier and smoother for everyone involved. So being open and honest about your child and your child's needs, whatever they may be, is really important to please do that. Again, from day one, any concern, anything at all you feel like maybe the teacher should know about your kid, make sure you voice that concern early on. Do not wait for something to happen or for the teacher to have to come to you now and say, hey, you know, I noticed something about Johnny, or I noticed that maybe you should really have disclosed that from the very first day. Okay, so please, being open and honest about your child's learning style, your child's needs, whatever that may be. Some kids maybe don't like to sit down. Maybe they do better sitting on a chair. You may want to tell your teacher that, so the teacher's not stressed out every morning wondering why this kid can't sit on the rug. Maybe a child has a physical problem that they cannot sit on the rug, or maybe cross their legs. And maybe it causes them pain or discomfort. That's the kind of thing you really should share with your child teacher from day one, so they'll know. It's like, okay, not a problem. I'll have them sit on a cushion or a chair so that the child is more comfortable. So things like that, you need to make sure you tell your child teacher from the day one, so they can best know how to serve and teach your child, so your child will have a successful school year. So being open and honest is my 4th tip. And finally, tip number 5. Respect. Okay, so I know that's pretty much self-explanatory, but I felt the need to kind of go over it anyway, because you really want to start the school year off on the right foot. And having respect for everyone involved is the best way to go about it. And by respect, I mean parents having respect for the teacher, and teachers having respect for the parent and the child. And if everybody has that mutual respect in the very beginning, you'll have a much more successful school year. So parents, my tip to you is to please show your teacher that due respect. I don't think parents really realize the amount of work and time it goes into in a full 8-9 hour day, depending on the school, with a classroom of 20 kids or more, again depending on the school. That's a lot, and depending on where you are, that teacher may be by herself, and even if she does have an aide or assistant, it's still a tremendous amount of work trying to mold and shape young minds for 8-9 hours at a time in a classroom full of children, each child with their own unique needs and wants and learning styles. That's a lot to have to deal with, and sometimes I don't think parents really give teachers their due respect. Now, especially in Western culture, in other parts of the world, I know teachers are very highly revered. They are shown a high respect, and being a teacher is one of the most prestigious jobs and careers you could possibly have. Unfortunately, in the West and in the United States, it's really not the case. A lot of times they are overworked and underpaid. So I don't really think teachers are given the due respect they really deserve. So my tip to parents is please show your teacher that extra respect. It won't hurt to thank them every now and then. Just thank them for their work, thank them for their service, thank them for being there for your kid. I think so. If you can just throw a little thank you, or you're doing an awesome job, or I really like your classroom even, that would really mean a lot to us teachers. And just kind of being patient with us and being understanding, and again really knowing what it entails to be there all day with you, or not just your child, remember dozens of other children in that classroom. And if there's something that your teacher may have missed or made a mistake, just kind of take that into consideration, that it's not just your kid. It's a classroom of many children, again having their own unique styles and needs and everything. Please keep that in mind when you're thinking of your teacher, and just give he or she that due respect. That's really all we ask for. I'm not looking for, a gift or anything like that. I'm just saying that respect really goes a long way. A smile and a friendly good morning really goes a long way and sets the tone for the entire day. I'm telling you for a fact. A lot of parents, I get it, I know a lot of them are in a hurry in the mornings, they have to go to work, so a lot of them just tend to drop and run out the door, and that's cool, and I understand that. But saying a friendly good morning really does go a long way, and it does set the tone for the day. So just kind of keep it in mind as you go about the school year, having that respect for the teacher, because we really work hard with your kid, and we really deserve that respect, and thank you every now and then wouldn't hurt either. So those are my 5 tips for my back to school special. Again, since we are starting off this brand new school year, I will be putting up more vlogs about tips. Sometimes I will have it for parents, sometimes I'll have it for fellow teachers, depending on what I decide to do. So keep a watch out for my teacher anecdotes and tips for parents as the school year progresses. This is going to be the first of, I hope, many back to school videos I will be posting throughout this new school year. So welcome back to school, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, fruitful, exciting school year, and if it's your child's first time in school, welcome. I think you're going to enjoy yourself. I hope you do a lot of learning and fun things. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Enjoy your new school year. Until next time, this is Kay from Life of Kay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop a new video. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, Life of Kay. I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for your support. Until next time, see ya.